Hello and welcome to Ruckosaurus Rex, the channel where we discuss all things dinosaur and other prehistoric animals. How you guys doing? We're not even going to waste any time. You see what it is. We have got another Beasts of the Mesozoic offering for you here. This is a fan's choice. It's from the Ceratopsian series and freshly released. We're talking about Styracosaurus, the old buck version, and this is a paint scheme that's based off of old buck from Walking with Dinosaurs, and this is how this was portrayed. So you already can see in the packaging what we've got going on here, but it isn't just this that we've got going on. We actually have a bonus feature that we're going to present, and that would be the bloody version of old buck, the Styracosaurus. So we're going to have a twofer for today. They're both essentially the same figure, just slightly different paint apps in terms of additions, and you already can guess what those additions would be. It's in the title. So let's get into it. We'll look at the packaging. We've got the bloody old buck on our rotating platter, so we may as well investigate that while we've got the chance. So without further ado, we have our packaging off of the rotating base so you can see it straight up, and you see the figure in the packaging. There is a backdrop, as there always is with Beasts of the Mesozoic. You see the artwork there right there on the front. It reads Ceratopsian series. You've got a logo there of a foot of the Ceratopsians. They've moved away from the trike as they used to have. You see a Styracosaurus old buck. Turning it up, you see the logo there. 20 points of articulation, realistic movement, and detail. Profile card included. This is number 27. Go to the sides, you see it again, fan's choice. Moving to the back, and you can see, we'll look at our right first. Other fan's choice Ceratopsians. You've got Medusaceratops, which we've reviewed. We've got Pachyrhinosaurus, which we've reviewed. And then, of course, there's number 29, Torosaurus, which we haven't reviewed because I don't have the fan's choice version, but I'm seriously considering getting it. And then, looking at the left, we've got Styracosaurus, old buck. Styracosaurus stands for spiked lizards, the fan's choice winner. You see the card there. And then our info. Length up to 5.5 meters or 18 feet long. Location, Dinosaur Park Formation, Alberta, Canada. Time period, late Cretaceous, 75 million years ago. Named by Lawrence Lamb in 1913. Old Buck was the first episode released in the Dinosauria web series. Excuse me, you guys. I said Walking with Dinosaurs. That's my bad. Created by David James Armsby, the story takes place in Alberta, Canada, 75 million years ago, and follows a Styracosaurus elder in his final years, who is challenged by a young male rival. Old Buck must defend his territory once again, with each battle bringing him closer to his final breath. So yes, that's how it goes down. Turning it to the front again, you see old buck, bloody old buck. This is after he got down with his rival in that series. We'll be taking a look at both versions, and we're going to do that right now. Here's a look at that backdrop that's included with old buck. If anyone's familiar with Beasts of the Mesozoic and their backdrops, you know that they're usually more realistic and related to what we surmise that the associated species, the environment that it lived in. You see this is more cartoonish and just different. If you look, you can see there on our right up the hill, we have a pack, a gang of tyrannosaurs. Probably could be a Gorgosaurus or maybe a Daspletosaurus or Albertosaurus. All three of those hunted Styracosaurus, so you know it could be any of those species. But yeah, this is the backdrop here. Here's a look at the collectible card that's included. It's got a picture of the actual figure on it. This is the back of the card, and the front, of course, is the same what we saw at the front of the box. You've got the same information there, and both the backdrop and the card are repeated on both versions, both Old Buck and the Bloody version. You see also we've got that the sheet for the instructions on how to apply the tail. You may need heat in order to put your tail on, connect your tail up, and this shows you how to use it with either a blow dryer or with hot water. I already got my tails installed. It didn't take any of that, so I was pretty fortunate. But you may run into that issue, so you know, take note. And here we have both versions of Old Buck in their glory. On our right, we have the original Old Buck, and on our left, we've got the Bloody version. As you can plainly see, the streaks of bloody battle, as you can tell, and yeah, looking pretty good. We'll go over the original first, and then we'll check out the differences on the Bloody version. I don't have the original Styracosaurus, so I won't be able to compare, obviously, the different paint apps as well as the skulls. And I mentioned the skulls because they're different. For Old Buck, the skulls were redone, resculpted, and one thing I can tell you, I'll see if I can find an illustration of the skull, hopefully from the front, so you can really see it. And if it is, it'll be probably right here somewhere. Anyhow, as you can see, let me lower his head a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. If you look at the spikes, and you see how the twin spikes at the top are almost crisscrossing, you don't have that with the original skull. They're all, like, you know, by themselves. I know I've seen the photos many a time as I've attempted to track down the original Styracosaurus, but to no avail. So I've got Styracosaurus now. I'm still out to get the original though, so keep that in mind. But that's the main difference with the skulls. But they also, from what I understand, just the general, just the whole visual of the skull has been changed. Of course, once again, my apologies, I don't have the original to compare with, so we'll have to take my word for it. When I finally get the Styracosaurus original, which is supposed to be re-released later this year, that's the word, then I'll acquire that, and then I'll do it'll be like a retro comparison in reverse, because I've got the newer Fans Choice version before I got the original. But I'll do it like that anyway. So look forward to that, as that'll be one of the final two late to the party reviews from the Ceratopsian series. And another notable difference is, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. The difference I'm speaking of would be his nasal horn. You see that it's broken, and that's, you know, wear and tear, years of defending his herd or defending against rivals, and you know, battle damage. You could look at the horn and you could see that BOTM were very thorough in their recreation of this. You can see where it's broken, right down to what would be, I guess we can call it, the marrow, and they did that pretty well, so they kept that intact, which is cool. The original version, the nasal horn is totally intact. Anyhow, you see the coloring there. It's like a nice dark gray is the base color for the entire figure, and then you've got the different shades, darker gray for the frill here. As you can see, as far as the nasal horn, That's like a black or maybe a charcoal gray, and then there's lighter stripes of gray, and then of course the white that you can obviously see. The beak has got a lighter shade of gray with streaks of darker gray in it, and then the lower jaw, a very much lighter shade of gray, the lightest shade to be precise, and then you see some more of the dark spots there. Looking at the front, you see we've got the traditional eyes for the frills of ceratopsians, looking pretty good. And the great thing, if you look, you notice that they're not symmetrical, very asymmetrical, which is very natural. You know, nature does not do the identical thing, so that's pretty cool. I'll back it up some. The spikes on the frill, you see how they are, sets of 3 on either side in black with white striping there, looking pretty nice. The spikes along the edges there are all in black. The eye for an old buck is white with a black pupil. Pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be able to effectively show what's going on in that mouth, but I'll try. Yeah, it's pretty difficult when it's just a beak, but hopefully you guys can see something in there. Nicely painted. It's got the wet look. The tongue, it's kind of brownish in there. It's got a wet look, so that's pretty cool. And you can see, if you can see them, that angle is about the best. You can see in the back there some teeth on its right side, and if I turn it to the other side, you can see, there you go, you can see the teeth going on back there. So pretty cool. Turn it around, as we do with our ceratopsians, we look at the back to see if anything's going on behind the frill, and there's nothing. Just some more, you know, the stripings go around 360 degrees on those spikes. There actually is some kind of a brownish wash to the back of the frill. I don't know if you could see that. Maybe right there you could see it. Then we'll just play the neck game. The neck is two-toned, dark black, or yeah, it's a black, a little darker than a charcoal gray, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it black. And then the bottom there is gray. It kind of just changes. I don't know if that's cool like that. It probably should have been more blended or melted, you know. Then of course you got the white striping or streaks, if you will. And then that black is along the top there. Turn you so you can see what's going on right then. Then you've got those white stripes. That gray, like I said, is the base, and then it gets lighter gray, some spots and some streaks. And the bottom is the lightest of the grays right there. You see what you got going on. There is a cloaca. You can see that right there. The feet, everything is, you got some spots there on the forelimbs, but they're essentially the same gray. There's a little dark wash to bring out the scales, and then the toes are painted like a grayish, a creamy grayish color there. If you can see that, back it up so we don't get out of focus there. The same with the rear, and as far as the hind limb is concerned, it's that same gray, but you got some dark spots there going on, but it's essentially solid. And of course, like I said, that the toes on the hind limbs, it's got that same color of gray there, as I once again get back in focus. Looking at the lower torso, the black is a little bit wider out. You still have those stripings there, and it's consistent as it goes down the tail. Striping, then it ends abruptly, a little less than halfway down the tail, and then you go down. Look at the underside of the tail. It's got the gray there. There are spots, black spots. You got that striping, and of course that light color, and it is of course more or less repeated on the other side there. So that is what our old buck paint job looks like. As far as our bloody version is concerned, the difference is there. Check out the horn. You see that the horn is got the same white streaks, but there are splotches of red paint over there. He's been in a fight, as you could see, and you get that going on right there. He's got scratches, but these are from, I believe both versions have those type of scratches. Yes, they do. I just peeked over at the original, or the original version, and those are from previous battles. On his other side, though, is where his most recent battle scars are evident, as you could see the bloody streaks going on right there, leading from the nasal horn to under his eyes. And then he's got more wounds there along the neck and along the upper torso, around his shoulder, if we want to call it that. He's got the bloody action going there. And that's about it on that left side. On the right side, you see he's got more bloody streaks along his hip there, on the right hip, and right there just where the lower torso meets the hip, he's got more. And then, of course, on the upper torso, you've got more cuts. He really was in it. When you think about it, he got, on both sides there. So there you have it. And this will be good. You could use this for if you get the original version. That could be the younger rival, and you could have display showing him fighting that guy. Or we have to, of course, we're going to have to wait for I believe it's wave 3, which is unbelievable that we have to wait all the way for wave 3 before we can get any of. Let me put him back there so he can at least be seen on camera. We'll have to wait all the way to wave 3, which won't be until probably the end of the year before we can get any of his Tyrannosaurian rivals, aka Daspletosaurus, Gorgosaurus, or Albertosaurus, for that type of display. So we'll have to wait on that, but it is what it is, right? So there it is, the bloody version of Old Buck. Old Buck shares the same measurements as the original Styracosaurus, which is 12 inches long. This is 1/18 scale, so the crazy thing is it's 12 inches long, it's 1/18 scale, so when you do the math, it comes out to 18. So this accurately represents an 18-foot long animal, which is what the Styracosaurus was estimated of being. So we got it going on there. As far as articulation is concerned, the mouth articulated. It's got a tongue in there that's also articulated. It's way up there, but you have to get some type of tool in order to push it down. But it is articulated, the tongue. So the head, it moves, and you can get some rotation left and right, and it does move slightly independent of the neck. But then combined with the neck, you get more, as you can see there, up, down, left, right. You've got torso articulation, so left, right, you can go up, down, and you can twist and shout. As far as the forelimbs can rotate. You can articulate at the, we'll call it the elbow. And of course, the feet can move up, down, and side to side, and it can flail out a bit. So you do have that. Hind limb can rotate quite a nice ways. You've got articulation at that knee, as you can see there. Then you have it at that ankle. And then, of course, the foot can go up, down, and left, right. One thing I failed to mention on the front, you do have the ability to swivel out. So keep that in mind too. Then, of course, the tail can go up, down, left, right, and you could even rotate it if you so desired. And, of course, all of that articulation is echoed on our guy, the bloody version, who's out of focus. There you go, the bloody version. So same articulation on both. There's actually been some debate on whether or not Styracosaurus is a Centrocene classified ceratopsian. So just in case he actually is, I mean, if you look at a lot of the lists that show Centrocene ceratopsians, they have Styracosaurus. Sometimes he's got a question mark by its name. So just for comparison purposes, I've got a bona fide Centrosaurian dinosaur. We've got the Diabloceratops with the recently reviewed nestling, one of them anyway. And even though I don't have any tyrannosaurs that were contemporary with Styracosaurus to compare with, and so you can see the size difference, I'll go ahead and utilize Junior, our previously reviewed Tyrannosaurus Rex juvenile. This guy is a representative of a 21-foot long animal, so you know, pretty close. Pretty close. You get an idea of the size of one of the big three from 75 million years ago, meaning Daspletosaurus, Gorgosaurus, or Albertosaurus. They all were in and around the same length. They had different bulk sizes, but they were all around 30 feet long. It's kind of amazing how throughout the Cretaceous, wherever there was a ceratopsian, there was a tyrannosaur right there. And they all kind of sort of grew together. You know what I'm saying? So Gorgosaurus was about 28 to 30 feet long, and Styracosaurus was 18 feet long. So you had that 12-foot difference. Triceratops up to 30, Tyrannosaurus Rex closing in on 43. You had the same amount of footage difference between the two. But of course, the ceratopsian would be more bulky than the tyrannosaurid. So, yeah, it's amazing. They just, ceratopsians and tyrannosaurs, rivals throughout the Cretaceous. And here's a shot of Mr. Robert Muldoon from the original Jurassic Park. This is from the Hammond collection. It's also a 1/18th scale figure, 3.75 inch figure. And this gives you an excellent idea of how large Styracosaurus were compared to a human male. And so to close out this review, try to be a little quick about it. At least I hope it's kind of quick. We'll know when I dice and slice it up and put it together to see how quick this review is. Yeah. To summarize what we got going on here, we've got the Beast of Mesozoic Fans Choice Styracosaurus, Old Buck, taken from the old series Dinosauria, and it's based on the character, if you want to call it that, Styracosaurus, that was named Old Buck in that series, in that episode. And we've gotten two versions, a regular version and a bloody version. Both are excellent. The paint jobs are great. The skull has been resculpted for Old Buck, as I described earlier, with the differences in the frill and in the nasal horn, and the overall appearance of the skull. Once again, my apologies for not having the original for comparison, but we'll get there one day. Anyway, this is a very nice figure. Articulation's on point, of course. Beast of Mesozoic, always doing their thing with the accuracy and what have you. Salute to Mr. David Silva for his efforts, and definitely has me hooked on this line, as you guys no doubt have figured out if you've been rocking with me all this time. Anyway, that'll do it. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit that thumb. If you dislike it, hit that thumb. If you want to leave a comment, please do so down below, and let me know what you think about this figure, about the channel, about any of the figures, about anything going on, any questions regarding this figure or the species itself. Hit me with it down below. Criticisms, hit me with that as well. You can also subscribe if you'd be so inclined. I'd greatly appreciate that. And of course, if you want to be notified for the next time I upload a video, you can hit the bell while you're down there as well. So once again, we're talking about Beast of the Mesozoic, Creative Beast Studios, BOTM, Fans Choice, Styracosaurus, Old Buck. Very nice figure. Thank you guys for being here with me. I'll see you next time. Take care.